Good morning, y'all. Wiggle here. Just updating on my off-grid kitchen. Been a little bit since I've been on here, so here is the kitchen. It's not quite 8 by 8 feet. So I got the door in, the windows. I got the windows for $45 a piece, and I got the door for $100. Got them on Craigslist. I had to go pick them up. And then all the lumber I made from the sawmill, white oak, red oak, and this side is ambrosia maple. Just a maple that's got that coloring to it. So I haven't finished the floor. I cut the floorboards and they're just sitting in there. I haven't insulated the floor yet. So here's some idea of the vent. This will be the summertime, 6 months, the warm months. These vents, there's a vent here. I haven't cut out the tieback yet. That'll be for crossbreeds, just to cool this off. I will go ahead and leave those vents open year round. Even when it's hot, we're going to have a nice fan going in the pulling all the air through here, through the bathroom and out. So just if you're cooking with wood stove, it will be manageable in here. And you can also leave the door open and open the 2 windows. So this is a small kitchen on purpose. It's like not going to have any dining and not much storage. It's mostly going to be a stove and a sink and just a prep area for eating, and that's it. You'd be able to store a few spices. We might have a few herbs growing in front of the windows here. It's mostly just to come in and cook and get out and then go do something else. It's just, and it'll be powered by wood fuel. So it'll be off-grid and very sustainable. We have plenty of little branches and stuff around here, scraps from the sawmill to run that wood stove with, and it will be heating our water. I just used 5V metal on the roof. That was something I had to buy. When I went to buy it, of course, they only had 12 foot, so I had to splice the section. I'm not sure we're going to have enough roofing metal. You might want to get that stuff sooner than later. And then there's the bathroom, not much change there. I wanted to show you what I'm, yeah, they're over there putting Firefly in, coax, and I did not grant them easement. So they didn't bring it on my land. They think I'm crazy. I don't want it. Trying to go off grid, not on grid. Alright. Here is my water tank, and I've got it wrapped. It's 10-sided decagon. Yeah, I guess that's what you call it. 10-sided structure that I've been working on. These are old chicken brooder panels. It's like an old heater that I took apart. Let me show you what that looks like. That is one of those right there. Ah, the chickens have been released. Feed us, we are hungry. What do they call that in video? Added value. I have a lot of added value entertainment today. Hope you're enjoying it. The chickens, and then the drill. Guys, I'm going to start drilling a hole, putting it through cable. Right, back to the, so not a whole ton to look at. I've got R10 foam insulation, tieback, and then I cut about 3/4 inch oak boards for the outside here. I'm going to take it on up. I'll get this roof on today. Just lost it. Sandal. Great, now I'm up here on my bare feet. All right, that'll be fine. So, here I am. Here am I. Kind of scary doing it with a camera in your hand. Okay. I'm about 12 feet off the ground here. So this, I've built a very heavy duty base, and that little round brooder is my roof for this middle, kind of like a hatch. It'll go right where my foot is here, inside the smaller. Now inside there, I want to just get blown in insulation and fill it all in, and fill it down the little cracks, the little gaps. You see that gap right there? Little gaps. I'm going to fill it all the way down with the blown in insulation. Now the reason I made this very heavy duty is later on I will leave this skirt of a roof, and then I'm going to put uprights and build a deck up here where you can stand here like an observation. It's an observation deck, not a guard tower, but you get the idea. It's just a lookout, a place to come up, and this is on the highest point. Everywhere you see around is a lower point, so you got a fairly good observation. Obviously some trees might need to be trimmed, this massive oak tree. But yeah, I'm just going to have it where you can get up here, and I'll have rails on it, and you can stand up here and look around. I thought that would be cool. So there's my foam insulation, the pink stuff there. XPS, high performance XPS. Here's my hatch. So I'm gonna have to have one of my roof panels that folds up or something to allow access to that hatch. That's the one thing we need to do here. And you can hear my pump kicking in, pressure pump. So anyway, I'll get the roof on this today with the little brooder panels, and probably have to use the little just galvanized flashing to get it done. I'm going to turn this off while I climb down. I did want to show you a part of the design of this thing when I got the 2x4 wrapped all the way around it. You put a big giant cargo strap and strapped it all together, and then I used those are off a bundle of railroad ties. It's strapped and it runs back a little bit underneath. So this is how I tied it all together. I used 2x4s too, but that's how I got all the slack out of it, got it sucked in tight. So I have to replumb that to get it in behind here, so then I'll insulate here, and then, here, this will be a dead air space for the plumbing, but it'll be next to the thermal mass of the wall. So then I'm going to build a little well house around this, try to get a lot of this off the ground and up next to the tank to take advantage of that thermal mass. So I'll be doing some replumbing, and I will be putting little strips of board and batten over the cracks after this lumber shrinks. I did put it up green. It will shrink. I just sucked it up as tight as I could. Not the greatest lumber, some of it, but we just used what we had. I am going to put some metal. It's 35 degrees here. 36 degrees, I'm sorry. I've been cutting at 35, but 36. 360 degrees divided by 10, 36. So it's 2 18s angles together will make my 36. Or I'm just going to use metal, so that way it'll bend around and close up those corners pretty nicely. And this tank's not exactly straight, and it was a challenge trying to get all the corners just right. So I'm going to just shave anything that's sticking out too far with a Sawzall, and then put metal over those corners to seal it in nicely. Keep the critters out and keep warm air in. So it'll look a lot more finished. And then I'm not going to have a whole lot of overhang on it. I'll have somewhat of a overhang. But I'll definitely get that roof done today. I'll have to run up and get some plumbing fittings and some insulation to get it done. I'm going to show you my scaffolds. I built these. These are so handy. They're not really attached. I did put a couple screws on the ends because I didn't want this thing flopping. But usually you would be up against a flat surface. So you just build these triangles, slide the 2x4s or bigger in there, and kind of just lean it against there. It's kind of the idea of a ladder. It's just, and it works really well. So this is not really screwed into the tank at all, or to the structure. It's just kind of sitting there. But I did put these just kind of as a stop. But it's actually just the weight, just pushing it back against just leaning against the structure. And I only had 6 scaffold pieces, so and again, this side beam, usually you wouldn't need it, but the way we're leaning against this round thing, the scaffold, I was worried about moving sideways on me, so I put in these side supports. I wouldn't do that. Just this is an unusual situation. So I'll show you a finished picture of it later. And I probably won't get that metal on in those batten boards for a while. That Tyvek's pretty tough. I'll move on to more pressing issues. But all of this scrap, I'll use all that up and put the batten boards on. And then I probably won't finish it, but I'll just, instead of having this stuff laying around, I'll at least. And some of that will be for my roof sheeting. So, and this is not an exact fit, so I'll have to, every corner will have to have a little flashing strip over it to help, because this angle is not perfect. It's close. And I have these, just a different size. Might use some of that. It's nice heavy gauge metal. So I definitely will take advantage of that. So anyway, I'll show you more of it later, and then I will fill you in on my upcoming greenhouse extension. I'll just tell you about that now. Let me pause this. All right, I have more of those solar panels there. So I have 4 wide. The structure I'm building will be 3 panels wide. And I have this post here, and the front of this is facing due south. So I'm kicking it out, bringing it towards me here at the camera, and I'll have the same profile, the same angle as far as where the clear panels are. I'll have that exact profile here, but it's only going to be wide enough for 3 solar panels. And I'm going to have bed in front where the slanted part is, but then the rest of it's going to not necessarily be like a traditional greenhouse. I'm going to put a patio in this area so we can come out in the winter and just enjoy the heat. It's, it gets pretty nice in there, 80 degrees generally, 70, 80, even on cold days. So you can go out there and get in a t-shirt, get the sun on you, and enjoy it. I'll probably put like lemon trees and stuff in there just to, more of a, I will use it for some crops, but the main thing is for people to use. And it'll keep my old well house warm there. I'm going to kind of put all my water controls in here. And then in the back part, see where that angle wall is on the back of this one? And I have grow beds. I actually have aquaponic water tanks there. Right now they're just thermal mass, but they will have fish later. But back here in this area, I have this deep freeze. It's DC deep freeze. So I'm going to make an insulated wall, and one side of it will be the greenhouse, and the back side of it will not be insulated anymore. It's going to be like a place for my deep freezer, and it's going to be, I'm going to bury a few refrigerators in the ground, kind of like a root cellar idea, and have a walkway over them, so you can just fold up a hatch and open up the fridge and you have your root crops down in there, kind of thing. And that will be well ventilated and rodent proof, but it's not going to be insulated. We're just going to take advantage in the winter. It's going to really, you could probably just store things right on the shelf. And then in the summer, it's on the back side of the north side, so we're going to have a nice breezeway, maybe some fans to help keep it cool in there. That will be the back side of the greenhouse. And however big that needs to be, and we'll have a back door right along this little trail here. And we're going to tie everything into this. And I'll probably have a little alcove here where you can just come in and get into several different doors. This will be under a roof here. It'll have a catwalk for my working on my solar, similar to this arrangement. So I can get up and adjust them and so forth, keep them clean or whatever I need to do. And so this will be the freezer area. This up here will be the patio area, and then I'll have the beds up there. Because as the sun progresses through this part of the sky, and then as it gets closer to dark, the house is right in the way. So I don't want to try to put too much in the shadow of the house for the winter when it matters most. Summer it won't matter at all. And I want to, this is zone 1, I want to keep it close so we don't have to come quite so far to get in it. And a lot of our refrigeration is going to make its way out here because it's going to be totally off grid, no inversion, 24 volt compressor. I do have to have batteries, but I'm going to tie the battery bank into the pump over there. I'm going to get double duty. I already have some batteries. I'm just going to get a little more duty out of them. So we're going to have a complete off-grid refrigeration, and kind of the idea would be to make ice blocks, at least in half of it. It's a nice size freezer. One sec. So this is also, I have to get this ready by December. This will be my meat locker. Here's my deep freeze here. And I'm going to get this deep freeze where at least half of it will probably have beef in it, and the other half I'll make ice blocks. And then the ice blocks I can share with people, because my off-grid kitchen doesn't have a refrigerator. People are going to have nice coolers or whatever for their personal stuff, and they can get ice blocks, so they can do whatever they want, but I'm going to help them. I'll probably put an old refrigerator out here, and or something, build a fridge on the back side of this, back in this corner, where you can put some ice blocks and you can store your stuff in there. But the advantage of that is we could put a little fan. Half the year you don't need a compressor. Half the year, or maybe a third of the year, you just turn on a fan at night, and the fan shuts off in the day, and you're using the cold air to power your fridge. I've always wanted to try that, and I just think heating a house and then putting your refrigerator in there and running your fridge while you're heating your house, it's like you're working against yourself. Just put your stuff outside. Take advantage of that cold air and make a refrigerator. Off-grid refrigerator. We're going to try that as well. A little bit lower tech, just basically a fan. We'll see how that works. And at least half the year you'll have something. The other half of the year you could just use it for dry storage or something. So we just adjust our lifestyle to the seasons. So I don't know if anybody's tried that. If you have, let me know. I would be interested to hear ideas. So anyway, this is Wiggle out for now. Thanks for watching.